Bali is one of the most beautiful islands in the world. But it's more than just beaches and sunsets. From ancient temples and volcanic mountains to hidden waterfalls and dramatic ocean cliffs, this island is full of surprises. Every corner has a story. Every landscape feels alive. In this film, we'll explore the real Bali, beyond the tourist spots, discovering its culture, nature, and the quiet beauty that makes it unforgettable. Let's begin our journey. But before we get into the places, let me share some really interesting facts about Bali that most people do not know. Because when you understand a place a little better, you enjoy it so much more. First of all, Bali is not just one island. A lot of people do not realize this. Bali is actually a province in Indonesia, and it includes 3 smaller islands called Nusa Penida, Nusa Lembongan, and Nusa Ceningan. Each one of these islands has its own personality and its own kind of beauty. Here is another thing that surprises many visitors. Bali is the only part of Indonesia where most people follow Hinduism. The rest of Indonesia is mostly Muslim, but Bali is different. This gives the island a very unique spiritual feeling. When you walk through Bali, you will notice small flower offerings on the sidewalks, the smell of incense in the air, and colorful temple ceremonies happening all around you. It feels like the whole island is alive in a way that is hard to describe. One of the most fascinating traditions in Bali is called Nyepi. This is a day of complete silence and stillness. On this one day every year, the entire island shuts down. No cars on the road, no shops open, no music playing, and yes, even the airport closes. Everyone stays indoors, reflects quietly, and lets the island breathe. Imagine an entire island going completely silent for a full day. It is something that you will not find anywhere else in the world. Now, if you are a coffee lover, you are going to love this next fact. Bali is home to one of the most famous and expensive coffees in the world, called Kopi Luwak. This coffee is made through a very unique process that involves a small animal called a civet cat. The flavor is incredibly smooth and rich, and coffee lovers absolutely go crazy for it. If you visit Bali, trying Kopi Luwak at least once is something you really should not skip. Bali also has its own language, its own traditional dances, its own music, and its own ceremonies that are completely different from anything else in Indonesia. The culture here is incredibly rich and layered. You could spend weeks just exploring the cultural side of Bali and still feel like you have only scratched the surface. And if you love nature and adventure, Bali has several active volcanoes, including Mount Agung and Mount Batur. These volcanoes offer some of the most breathtaking hiking experiences you will find anywhere in Southeast Asia. One more thing worth mentioning is that Bali has attracted a large community of people from all over the world who have made it their home. Places like Canggu and Ubud are full of people from different countries who fell in love with Bali and simply decided to stay. This mix of cultures makes Bali feel dynamic, open, and constantly interesting. All right, now let us get into the good stuff. Here are the best places to visit in Bali. There is a quiet rhythm to Bali that you don't hear in the cities. You feel it here. At Tegalalang, the land breathes in layers. Step by step, the hills cascade downward in a perfect green geometry, carved by human hands, yet shaped by centuries of tradition. These rice terraces are not just beautiful, they are alive. For over 1,000 years, Balinese farmers have followed the ancient Subak irrigation system, a UNESCO-recognized philosophy that blends spirituality, community, and agriculture. Water flows from temple to field, from mountain to valley, guided not by machines, but by belief. In the early morning, mist drifts between the terraces like a slow-moving river. Sunlight spills across the paddies, igniting the green into gold. Farmers in conical hats move quietly, tending to crops the same way their ancestors did. This is not industrial farming. This is harmony. Stand at the edge, and you'll notice how the terraces curve naturally with the land. Nothing feels forced. Every line follows the mountain's original shape. The sound of trickling water mixes with distant bird song, creating a soundtrack older than memory. Tagalalang is more than a postcard. It's a reminder that human civilization once worked with nature, not against it. In the cultural heart of Bali, there is a forest that feels like it belongs to another world. This is a protected area that is home to over 700 long-tailed monkeys called macaques. Inside the forest, there are also 3 ancient temples, and the whole area covers about the size of 27 football fields. There are over 180 different types of trees and plants growing here. What makes the monkey forest so special is that you get to see these animals living in their natural habitat. They are not in cages, they are not performing tricks. They are just going about their day, playing with each other, jumping between the trees, and occasionally checking out the visitors. They are quite used to humans, so they will often come very close to you, which can be funny and a little bit nerve-wracking at the same time. The temples inside the forest are also genuinely beautiful and historically significant. Walking through this space where nature and ancient religion exist together so naturally is an experience that stays with you. Right in the heart of Ubud, there is a stunning water temple called Pura Taman Kamuda Saraswati. This temple is dedicated to Saraswati, the Hindu goddess of knowledge and the arts. The architecture here is incredibly detailed, with carvings and decorations everywhere you look. But the real highlight is the enormous lotus pond that sits in front of the temple. When the lotus flowers are in bloom, the whole place looks absolutely magical. In the evenings, traditional Balinese dance performances are held in the temple courtyard. Watching these performances in such a beautiful setting is one of those Bali experiences that just feels completely unforgettable. High in the cool mountains of Bangli lies a village that feels untouched by time. Penglipuran is often described as the cleanest village in Bali, but cleanliness is only the surface of its story. This is one of the few remaining traditional Balinese villages that still preserves its original layout. A single stone pathway runs straight through the center, lined symmetrically with identical bamboo gates and family compounds. No modern chaos, no tangled wires, no towering hotels. Every home follows strict architectural rules rooted in Balinese Hindu philosophy. The orientation of buildings, the placement of shrines, even the height of walls, everything reflects cosmic balance. There are entrances, and then there are thresholds. Handara Gate, often called the Gate of Heaven, rises dramatically against the misty mountains of Bedugul. Its split structure two towering stone pillars carved with intricate patterns, creates a perfect frame for the sky. But this is not actually a temple entrance to heaven. It is the gateway to a golf resort. And yet, its symbolism runs much deeper. In Balinese architecture, the split gate is known as Candi Bentar, representing the divide between the physical world and the spiritual realm. Passing through it symbolizes transition. As clouds roll low over the mountains, the gate appears almost mythical. Close to Ubud, Tegenungan Waterfall is one of those places that reminds you why Bali feels so special. The waterfall flows down into a clear pool surrounded by dense tropical vegetation, and the sound of the water is instantly relaxing. You can swim in the pool at the base of the falls or watch from a viewing platform above. Both give you a completely different but equally wonderful experience. The best time to visit is early in the morning before the crowds arrive. The light is soft, the air is cool, and the whole place feels peaceful. If you have any sense of adventure in you, Mount Batur is not something you want to miss. This is an active volcano in central Bali, and hiking to the summit to watch the sunrise is one of the most talked about experiences in all of Southeast Asia. You start the hike in the middle of the night, usually around 2 or 3 in the morning. You walk in the dark with just a headlamp and your guide leading the way. The hike takes roughly 2 hours, and it is moderately challenging. It is not so hard that you need to be a professional hiker, but it does require a reasonable level of fitness. When you finally reach the top and the sky begins to lighten, you realize instantly that every step was worth it. The view from the summit is extraordinary. Below you, the beautiful Lake Batur sits inside the volcanic caldera, reflecting the colors of the sky. The surrounding landscape of volcanic rock and distant mountains stretches out as far as you can see. Watching the sun come up from the top of a volcano is one of those moments that you carry with you for the rest of your life. Pura Besaki is known as the Mother Temple of Bali, and it holds the highest religious significance on the island. It sits on the slopes of Mount Agung, which is the tallest and most sacred volcano in Bali. Pura Besaki is not just one temple. It is actually a massive complex of 23 related temples spread across a large area of the mountain. The architecture here is extraordinary. The multi-tiered towers called meres rise up against the backdrop of the volcano and the surrounding mist, creating an image that feels ancient and powerful. This is where Bali's most important religious festivals are celebrated. Lempuyang Temple has become one of the most iconic images associated with Bali. The famous split gate here frames a perfect view of Mount Agung in the distance, and when the conditions are right, the gate seems to float above a reflection of the clouds and sky. This image has been shared millions of times online, and seeing it in person is still genuinely breathtaking. Getting to the temple requires a bit of a walk, but the path takes you through beautiful nature, so it does not feel like a chore. The higher you climb, the more dramatic the views become. Lempuyang is one of Bali's 9 directional temples, all of which are considered deeply sacred. The Bali swing experience is something that has become hugely popular in recent years, and when you try it, you will understand why. Wooden swings are set up high above the treetops, rice terraces, or jungle valleys, and when you sit on them and swing out, you get this incredible open view of the landscape below you. It feels free and a little bit thrilling at the same time. There are several locations around Bali where you can find these swings, with the area around Tegalalang being one of the most popular. The photos you get from here are genuinely stunning, and it is one of those activities that is fun for everyone, regardless of age. On the shores of Lake Beratan in the Bedugul Highlands, there is a temple called Pura Ulun Danu Beratan that looks unlike anything else in Bali. The temple appears to rise directly out of the water, and with the mountains behind it and the mist floating across the surface of the lake, the whole scene looks almost unreal. This temple was built to honor Dewi Danu, the goddess of the lake. Agriculture in Bali depends heavily on water, and this lake is one of the main sources, so the temple holds enormous spiritual and practical importance for the island. Early mornings are the best time to visit when the mist is still hanging over the water, and the temple seems to glow in the soft light. In northern Bali, the Git-Git waterfall is one of the region's most beautiful natural attractions. The water falls through dense jungle, and the surrounding greenery makes the whole area feel incredibly fresh and alive. The hike to reach the waterfall is pleasant and not too demanding, with the cool mountain air making the walk genuinely enjoyable. Once you are there, you can swim in the natural pool at the base of the falls, or simply sit and take in the scenery. The sound of the water, the smell of the jungle, and the overall atmosphere of Git-Git make it a perfect escape from the busier southern parts of the island. There are also several smaller waterfalls in the surrounding area that you can explore if you have extra time. Not far from Git-Git, Sekumpul is widely considered to be the most spectacular waterfall in Bali. A group of 6 waterfalls cascade down green cliffs side by side, creating a scene that looks almost cinematic. Getting there requires a bit of a trek through the jungle, but that walk is genuinely beautiful in its own right. Swimming in the refreshing water surrounded by all that green is one of those simple but deeply satisfying experiences. The stress of everyday life just disappears when you are standing there listening to the water and breathing the clean mountain air. Sekumpul is a little more effort to reach than some other spots, but it rewards you in a way that few places in Bali can match. Near the village of Lemuki, the Fiji waterfall is one of Bali's more hidden treasures. 3 separate waterfalls flow down green rock faces, and the remoteness of the location means it is far less crowded than other spots. The hike to get there is an adventure in itself, with cool air and beautiful scenery all the way. Tucked away in the cool mountains of northern Bali beside Lake Temblingen, this ancient temple is one of the most serene and atmospheric places on the entire island. The thick forests and misty mountains that surround it give Pura Ulun Danu Temblingen a mysterious and almost otherworldly quality. Unlike the busy tourist areas of southern Bali, this temple is quiet. It feels authentic in a way that is increasingly hard to find. The lake itself is still and beautiful, and the traditional Balinese ceremonies that take place here are deeply moving to witness. If you are looking for a place to slow down, reflect, and connect with something deeper, Temblingen is exactly that kind of place. Wrapping up the northern part of Bali, Menjangan Island is a small island that sits within the West Bali National Park, and it is a paradise for anyone who loves the ocean. The underwater world here is extraordinary. Crystal clear water, vibrant coral reefs, and an incredible variety of marine life, including sea turtles that glide through the water right beside you. Whether you choose to snorkel or dive, the experience of being underwater at Menjangan is unlike anything else in Bali. Guided tours take you to the best spots and make sure you see as much as possible. The beaches above water are beautiful too, with white sand and calm waters that are perfect for simply relaxing after a dive. If you love the ocean, Tulamben will feel like a hidden dream. This quiet fishing village on the northeast coast of Bali is home to one of Southeast Asia's most famous dive sites. Moving into the southern part of Bali, the Garuda Wisnu Kencana Cultural Park, commonly known as GWK, is one of those places that genuinely stops you in your tracks. The centerpiece is a massive statue of the Hindu god Vishnu riding Garuda, a mythical bird from Hindu mythology. This statue stands an incredible 120 meters tall, making it one of the tallest statues in the world. The park itself covers more than 60 hectares. If there is one place in Bali that combines natural drama with spiritual significance in the most spectacular way possible, it is Uluwatu Temple. This ancient temple clings to the edge of a cliff about 70 meters above the Indian Ocean. Below it, waves crash against the rocks with incredible power. Around it, the view stretches out to the horizon in every direction. Uluwatu is one of the most important sea temples in Bali, believed to protect the island from evil spirits that come from the sea. The views from the cliffs, especially at sunset, are absolutely extraordinary. Tanah Lot is probably the single most photographed spot in all of Bali. A beautiful temple sits on top of a large rock formation in the middle of the ocean, and at sunset, the image of this temple silhouetted against the glowing sky with the waves crashing around it is absolutely iconic. The temple is dedicated to the sea gods, and it is only accessible on foot during low tide. Even if you cannot walk out to the rock itself, the view from the surrounding cliffs is more than worth the visit. Tanah Lot is one of those places where photographs really do not do the real thing justice. You have to be there, with the sound of the ocean around you and the colors of the sky changing every few minutes, to really understand what all the fuss is about. Now let us talk about the Nusa Islands, and we will start with Nusa Penida, which is the largest and most dramatically beautiful of the three. The first stop on Nusa Penida that almost everyone makes is Kelingking Beach. From above, the cliff formation here looks remarkably like a T-Rex standing at the ocean's edge. It is one of those views that you cannot quite believe is real. Getting down to the beach itself requires descending a long and fairly steep staircase, but the beach at the bottom is pristine white sand, turquoise water, and complete seclusion. Not many people make the full trek down, so if you do, you will likely have a near-perfect beach almost to yourself. Angel's Billabong is a natural infinity pool carved into the cliff by the ocean. During low tide, you can swim in this pool, and it is absolutely beautiful. The water is clear and the setting is dramatic. During high tide, the waves crash over the rocks, and the pool fills up and transforms. Just nearby is Broken Beach, also known as Pasi. Here the ocean has carved a massive archway through the cliff over thousands of years, and during high tide you can watch waves roar through this natural tunnel with incredible force. At low tide, a hidden path beneath. The arch reveals a quiet cove that feels like a secret kept just for you. For snorkeling enthusiasts, Gamat Bay is a must. The water is clear, the coral is healthy, and the fish life is stunning. It is a peaceful and beautiful spot that gives you a sense of what the underwater world around Nusa Penida really looks like. Manta Point is another stop that people talk about for years after their visit. This is one of the best places in the world to swim alongside manta rays. Atu Beach wraps up the Nusa Penida adventure beautifully. Getting there requires a hike through rugged terrain, but the beach itself is extraordinary. Unique limestone formations, a natural bridge connecting the main area to a small peninsula, and water so calm and clear that you could spend hours just floating in it. After the intensity of places like Kalingking and Broken Beach, Atu feels like the perfect place to unwind. Nusa Lembongan is smaller and gentler than Nusa Penida, but it is absolutely beautiful in its own right. This island is perfect for those who want to combine relaxation with some light water activities. Dream Beach and Sandy Bay are wonderful for sunbathing and swimming. The sand is soft and the water is inviting. Mushroom Bay has calmer waters that are ideal for snorkeling and paddleboarding. The coral reefs around Nusa Lembongan attract divers from around the world, and the marine life here is genuinely impressive. Devil's Tier is one of the more dramatic natural spots on the island. Here, the ocean meets the rocky coastline with tremendous force, and the waves send spray shooting high into the air. One of the most interesting things about Nusa Lembongan is its seaweed farming tradition. You will notice large patches of green in the water around the island. These are seaweed farms that local families have been maintaining for decades. The seaweed is harvested and used in everything from cosmetics to food products. It is a sustainable industry that has supported the island's community for generations, and seeing it gives you a genuine connection to the way people actually live here. Connected to Nusa Lembongan by a charming yellow suspension bridge, Nusa Tenangan is the smallest of the three. Nusa Islands, and it has a very different kind of energy. It is adventurous, but also peaceful. The Blue Lagoon here is famous for cliff jumping, and the water is an extraordinary shade of turquoise that almost does not look real. Jumping from the cliffs is a heart-pounding experience, and swimming in that water afterward is wonderfully refreshing. Secret Beach is exactly what the name suggests. It requires a bit of effort to find and reach, but once you are there, you have one of the most beautiful and peaceful stretches of sand on any of the three islands, essentially to yourself. Nusa Tenangan and Nusa Lembongan together offer a combination of adventure, beauty, and genuine relaxation that balances out the more intense drama of Nusa Penida perfectly. And that brings us to the end of this journey through Bali. From the terraced rice fields of Tegalalang to the cliff edge, majesty of Uluwatu, from the sacred waters of Tirta Empul to the wild beauty of Nusa Penida, every place on this list has something genuinely special waiting for you. Bali is not just a destination, it is a feeling. When you are there, surrounded by that beauty and culture and spiritual energy, something shifts inside you. The world slows down, things that seemed so important start to feel lighter. And you begin to notice the small things: a flower offering on a stone step, the sound of a gamelan in the distance, the way afternoon light falls across the rice terraces. That is what Bali does to people. And that is why so many who visit once end up coming back. If this video helped you or just got you excited about Bali, give it a like and subscribe for more travel content. I will see you in the next one.